He was one away from getting the 10 in a row streak, and then Team Liquid just cut him down right there. But LYON going to keep him in here for the second game.
And it does make me wonder if they are going to, depending on what TL play, try to pull out one of those ranged counter picks. They have chosen first pick for themselves.
Yeah.
So that would be something they kind of have to engineer during the draft. But that, again, that was such a huge part of their strategy going into TL previously.
So already, this draft is looking very, very similar to game number 1 in that the first 4 bans are exactly identical. It's Orianna and Cassiopeia banned out by TL. It's Jarvan and Nocturne banned out by LYON. Of course, now things are going to change up a little bit. It's the Ornn banned away by LYON, so they don't want to deal with that tank up there in the top side. TL has one more to go. Remember that last time around, we did see the Yone banned by LYON in place of the Ornn, so Quid now has that open and available to him, and there it is, the Varus, once again.
Yep, taking away the Varus. And now I'm curious, with Ashe Seraphine up and with LYON having first pick, if they're going to pick one of those. Nope, they're going with the Ruimble for Dhokla.
Dhokla back in his comfort zone of Scion Ruimble. When he first reemerged on the scene with Hunter Thieves, he would play these 2 champions and then Cassante as his third crazy pick. He's had, strangely enough, online, he's been the counter pick guy, but he's kind of back to his roots here.
And I like how you bring those champions up, because back on that 100 Thieves roster where it was originally like General Sniper, when Ruimble and Scion are so strong in the meta, it was Sniper struggling to play those power picks, not finding the efficacy on them that 100 Thieves wanted. And it's like, wait, we got this guy right here that can kind of just make these happen. So Big Dokes back on the big Rumble over on the TL side. Unfortunately, no more of the iconic Lee Sin here for Josedeodo, so he will be switching over to the Vi in game 2.
Pretty early to pick Vi, but it's also a takeaway from Inspired, who has played it a lot this split. It's really about playing side lanes aggressively. When you pick the Vi, you're winning a lot of 2v2s or 2v1s on side lanes. So Team Liquid are going to try and just continue with what worked for them in game 1.
Yeah, and they're going to be locking in the Lucian, Yeon, a very well-known Lucian player. Also kind of a takeaway from Berserker, and they're going to immediately lock in the Senna Nautilus.
Divorce court bot lane. It's Lucian versus Senna. Who's going to come out on top?
And it's going to be Milio, most likely to pair with that Lucian. Really, really strong pairing. I fully expect this hover to be real.
Yeah, should be some bot prio for Team Liquid if they are able to get the Lucian going. But a lot of CC being locked in for LYON with the Senna Nautilus. That's, again, like a big team fight composition. I think they wanted game 1 to be a team fight comp, but they just lost too much control in the mid game.
And Milio loves it when the enemy team has a lot of CC, because Breath of Life can then get so much value, particularly if they have AoE CC. Senna and Nautilus, both mostly individual targets, right? It's pretty easy to walk away from whoever the Senna route is going to latch onto. Nautilus' stuff is all single target as well for the hard CCs. But now we're into the second half of the draft, with the bottom lanes drafted for both sides, but a difference in the other picks, considering Rumble's definitely going top, Vi's definitely going jungle, so we'll see how that influences the bans, as Team Liquid is going to focus the jungle role yet again, banning out the Xin.
Yeah, I think the Xin takeaway is still really, really good. I mean, it's just a super strong pick right now in the meta, but also Inspired has been phenomenal on it. And then taking away kind of the automatic CC you get with the Annie mid, over on LYON's ban side.
Yeah, so for Team Liquid, it's like finding a pick for Quid that can play fast, because the Ryze can play fast, the Yone would be able to play fast. I think even with the Yone not being banned, taking the Ruimble away is often a bit of a soft block for Yone, since you always want to have Ruimble Yone as a pair if possible. When I'm thinking about Quid's champions, the Annie was going to be the one I call out. That's why they banned it away. So I'm thinking maybe something like Auora would still be the similar slot for Team Liquid.
And the Trundle ban here tells me that Team Liquid has got to be looking at a tank top laner here in this one, because otherwise I would be like, oh, okay, maybe they're trying to open up for a Sejuani, but you've already got Vi, and she's definitely not going anywhere other than jungle. So I'm expecting some sort of a tank pick here in top for TL, as Akali will be the last ban there for LYON.
Another good ban against Quid, even though he hasn't played Akali this split, you hear other teams talk about just never giving Team Liquid a good angle to play Akali. So that also means that Saint might just want to lock in a control mage if they're forced to pick blind.
All right, TL, what are we going to go for here? I would assume it would have to be the top laner, since you already know you're going up against the Ruimble and you want to get value out of that fifth pick for a mid lane counter pick as well. So what's our tank gonna be here? It's not a tank at all, actually. Okay, It's gonna be Ambessa instead.
Bruiser. Line pick Bruiser. So that, well, not completely blind pick. They're going to be going up against the Ruimble. Morgan's had a very strong Ambessa when he's been able to cook with it.
Yeah, and speaking of the kind of Sej-Yone combo, that is something that obviously Saint and Inspired could go for on their side, and something we've seen them have success on. Yone being kind of still the only AD standout really in the mid lane currently. So we'll see what Inspired wants to lock in. Could be the Sej. I'm once again betting on the Sej, but it could be something else.
I mean, Pantheon's up if they wanted a little bit of pseudo global. It would be a good denial for Jose, but the comp just makes so much sense. Like this is a really nice blind pick 5v5 if you're Lion. How would you like to play Yone with this, please?
Yeah, exactly. There's so much setup for him, and I feel like we've talked so much about how good Inspired is on this Sejuani. He's such a playmaker on it, and there we go. The Auora, kind of the default as we go down Quid's champions that he's played, something that fits in this composition and what he'll be going for.
I think pretty important for Lion to win this one, not just because they're already down 1-0, but they've taken a lot of champions away from Team Liquid, the Team Liquid want, right? Taking the Quid, Yone away, even though Saint is 2-0 with it, and then also having it with the full Ruimble setup team comp for melee mid would be really nice if Lion's able to even the series with this comp.
I definitely favor the Lion composition in this one. I feel like just the combination of Sejuani with the two melee solo laners and the combo of how those AoEs overlap and interact with the ults seems so strong.
Yeah, and I think on the other side, it's actually super important for this Lucian Milio to get out to a really, really strong start.
Yeah.
This is why you're picking this bot lane, is to kind of really hard win the 2v2 and continue from game one of trying to make Berserker not as impactful in these team fights. So I'll be really, really curious to see if there's any bot lane intervention early on from either of these junglers, particularly Inspired, to try to make sure that Senna and Nautilus are able to get through the initial early laning power of the Lucian Milio.
All right, Lion, let's see if you can bounce back and tie us up here in this one. As where do you guys expect to see our junglers focus early on?
Bot lane.
Bot lane? Okay. That's where I was going to expect as well, considering you do have the Lucian Milio, and it's really important for Lucian to stay ahead of things. But just wanted to make sure that I was not barking up the wrong tree here.
You never know, though. The junglers could also just focus on each other. Just trying to show each other the raptor camp, as they both warded each other's raptors. But likely that Sejuani just wants a stable early game where he's able to full clear. And we also have a Zale standing by with Spawn to talk about that game one.
All right, Spawn, you gave an interview at the top of the day. You said you got to give your team a 50% chance or better with the draft. What are the odds?
I actually really like our comp this game. I think, like, don't get me wrong, like, if we just let them freely engage into us, we'll die very quickly because they have a lot of damage. But we're really familiar with the comp they're playing, actually, like Nautilus, Yone, Ruimble. That's kind of like our thing. So, you know, we like what we got into it. We've struggled when we've had to play into a similar comp in the past. So, job done.
Are you concerned at all about the fact that they are taking a lot of these champions, which people would kind of, you know, consider Team Liquid champions, like the Yone, like the Ruimble, like the Nautilus, in a best-of-5 Fearless?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, if you drop games like this where you're playing against champions you want to pick, it starts to get quite hairy. So as long as we are able to win these games, then it will be fine. But yeah, if we drop this game, then they kind of have done their job of taking 2 for 1 out.
Talk to me a little bit about the Lucian Milio, obviously rising in priority a lot. First came in kind of as an Ashe Seraphine answer. Now we're just seeing it blinded all the time. What is its role in this game?
I mean, Yeon is just one of the best Lucian players actually in the world, in my opinion. And then when we were looking at their jungle options, we felt like they only had a lot of like single target CC, like Pantheon or something like Sejuani available, Skana maybe. So Milio is just really good in that draft. So I think that's why it's coming about, is like there's just a lot of like kill one person comps, and Milio shuts that down. So hopefully Core's able to play that role this game.
Thank you very much, Spawn. Best of luck with the game.
Thank you.
All right, always good to hear from the coaches there. Just in case you guys were curious, our brief pause there that happened and gave us that lovely ambient noise in the back of the interview there was apparently there was a fly.
Insect issue.
Yep.
Not the team, but an actual like little buzz flying critter on Saint's monitor that had to be dealt with so that he could properly focus, get locked in for the game. The fly has now been taken care of and dispatched So now we're back in as early on, it is that Lucian Milio with the push in bottom lane.
Yeah, it's always funny to see someone type insect issue. Guys, I'm taking insect aggro. Oh, congrats to Core on 300 career wins. 11th.
That's a lot of wins.
Yeah, 11th LCS player to do it.
Yeah, came over in that 2019 season in the middle of the Team Liquid dynasty and has been there ever since. So,
hey, he was there before that too. Back in the day when he was
Dignitas,
AD carry.
Well, that didn't contribute to the 300 win mark.
Okay.
All right, touche.
A few of them. A very small percentage.
He's out of line, but he's right.
The door was wide open.
You had to. I respect the play. I respect it. Both of our junglers have gone ahead and done their full clear, so no early action there. Going to end up on opposite ends of the map, taking out those Scuttle Crabs. As Saint, of course, taking some early damage from the Auora in mid lane, but that's kind of what you expect. Melee champion into Auora. It's a pretty obnoxious matchup for many of them.
Absolutely is. And I like what Spawn talked about in the interview as well, trying to kind of play up the fact they're very familiar against the champions, even though now Team Liquid can't play any of them in the series. But if they get a win with these champions in a game, it's kind of as if they played the comp.
Sure.
It works like that, right? The transfer property of team compositions. All right, Morgan has Josedeodo up here helping him. Looking to make the play onto Dhokla, who's mostly just walking it off. Josedeodo, immediate flash on top of Dhokla. Point blank vault breaker. Dhokla gets away with the first blood. The patience from TL pays off. And once again, it's Josedeodo getting involved with a solo lane to make the moves happen.
I mean, just such an aggressive early play right there. All with the early flash to force the flash out of Dhokla and then do the skill check on if Dhokla flashed, then you start charging the vault breaker, but then to just snap engage it like that. A lot of just mechanical outplay there. Dhokla didn't flash, didn't dodge, and Jose landed everything in order to get that kill.
Yeah, and we were wondering where these junglers were going to go. Well, as it turns out, Jose decided to go top and kind of managed to. I'd be curious to see the vision line, how much he was able to avoid, because it definitely didn't look like they saw him coming, but there was a bunch of vision down in that river. Jack's going to go back and check in the game itself.
Yeah, he went straight through it.
Yeah.
Jose queued over the wall onto vision, then flashed early because his vault breaker wasn't actually up yet, and then point blank vault breaker as soon as it was off cooldown again. So Jose was just a really clean gank.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really won the mind game on Dhokla, actually, because if Dhokla just flashes early, he's totally fine.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He gets back over to the turret. He hangs out for a second. As soon as Jose leaves, everything's fine. But not the way it went down, as Josedeodo is going to start up Drake #1 4 seconds after it spawns.
Yeah, and that is off of kind of this pushing bot lane pressure, although Saint, is going to come down and check this out since he just had the push in mid lane.
Yeah, but
bot
now
lane's headed up.
Jay is rotating over. Quid is rotating over. Saint, it looked like a good idea, but as soon as Team Liquid rotates, you got to back away.
Well, and this is what that Lucian Milio bot lane priority gives you, right? Like, despite the fact that he initially went top, got the gank and kill up there, was super successful.
Oh, that was a really nice lockdown coming out from Isles as Yeon is down to 150 HP, fires back into Berserker to halt the Lion chase, but pulling Yeon in there underneath the turret in aggro range makes a pretty decisive victory for Lion.
Yeah, super, super close for both AD carries there for a little while.
Jose is smurfing this series. The Lee Sin game, into the top gank, into just the very decisive mind games. Like, we've had this whole meta of junglers doing the 5-minute, 30-second Gromp to get the Smite upgrade, but Vi specifically can kill dragons so fast and safely with the shield and the % health damage that you can just jump on in the 5 minutes. When he started that, Inspire was on Krugs, so even though Saint could go check, they're not able to make that fight happen because they're going to have a numbers disadvantage.
Well, and that's why we kind of both cited this jungle matchup as something that's super interesting, right? Jose, as kind of a more gank-heavy jungler, is here he is back in top lane.
Yeah, and remember, Dhokla has no flash, so immediate cease and desist, followed up by the public execution, and it's all too easy to repeat the same process as before. Team Liquid goes up 2-0, and Morgan owns both kills.
Yeah, and now both of their side lanes are in pretty good spot. Berserker has taken a slight lead in the bot lane from the AD carries, but Morgan's in a great spot on top, and he should be able to push this entire wave in.
Josedeodo off to a great start here in the second one after having a phenomenal game number one, as this wave is just going to get munched up by the turret. Dhokla trying to get back as fast as he can, but will lose out on a few minions here. Morgan up to over 600 gold lead here for himself. Despite the fact that the farm is even, he's just got the kill advantages.
Yeah, and to touch upon, again, like this jungle matchup, Jose is someone who is going to historically interact with his lanes a lot more frequently and a lot earlier. And we've already seen that where he's been on the map, getting that first Drake, those 2 ganks on the top side. A little bit more scrapping in bot lane.
Scrapping. And I apologize if this happens to a fight. The producers told me that we have comms of Saint dealing with the fly, and I really want to hear it.
Oh, man.
So we're going to pull it up now and hope that a fight doesn't happen.
On my monitor, there's a bug. Yo, ref. It's scary.
Yeah, it's so scary, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I like how he just sits there and points at it.
Berserker just like cracking up. Can't believe he paused for a fly.
Okay, well.
That was worth it.
Yeah.
No, that was a good call. Good
Producers.
call. We didn't get a fight during it, so nothing lost. Nothing lost. Hanging out, having a good time. Inspired is on the Void Grubs, so the opposite story being told here in game 2 as what we got in game number 1. This time around, it's LYON controlling the Grubs while TL have that first trade.
But I think it's just Team Liquid controlling the game right now. They have minor gold advantages in every single role. It's another game where Jose has been able to make a much larger footprint on the map than Inspired. Inspired does have Protoplasm Harness, which is one of the strengths of these junglers that don't have to go Sundered Sky. It's the faster early power spike. But what's he going to do with it? Where is he going to find a fight to make use of this item?
And especially since both the kills that TL have found so far, the gold has gone to Morgan.
Yeah.
Look over at Dhokla. He went for the full-plated steel caps already. His first full item is not going to be online for a very long time. While Morgan already has Pickaxe and Caulfield's Warhammer in inventory, we're going to have a pretty big item power discrepancy here very soon in top lane.
Yeah, and as we see Jose kind of prepping for a lane gank, he will get spotted out by that ward in the brush. So Dhokla should be able to play this a little bit safely.
And he sweeps. Now he sees it. Okay, he was suspicious. Dhocla's movements once Jose
He's
arrived.
backing off a little too much. But yeah, once again, getting Morgan into a really good position and relieving any sort of early pressure this Ruimble may have been able to have.
I want to see how Morgan is able to deal with this lead, because I remember the last time they played in lock-in playoffs, it was just counterpick City for Dhokla, and he was able to punish Morgan, because that was back in lock-in. Morgan was just dominating people in lane, so it felt like that was going to be the big mismatch in the series. But here, just with the standard picks of Sion Ruimble, Morgan's been able to play a very standard game, right? His Shen was effective, and maybe he could take over with this Ambessa.
Yeah, and I think the way you kind of want to set it up is he does have a nice dive buddy. We've already seen the Vi Ambessa combo really well together in Jose's ganks. And with kind of Quid and Yeon to really soften up priority targets, they should be able to pick off whoever they want kind of together if they're able to work in tandem. There's going to be a lot of room for Morgan to move around in these fights.
Hey, Isles again, going for these dredge lines onto CoreJJ, chunking that Milio down low, forces out the Summoner's heal. But Team Liquid still not in too terrible of shape as Inspired starts up Drake 2.
So he has the item Power Spike, and they chunked the bot lane a little bit. So Inspired wants to create a fight here, but look where Morgan has arrived from. He's actually based, and he's right back on the map.
Yeah, Isles goes in for the dredge line onto Yeon as he and CoreJJ just try to keep this enemy bottom lane distracted. Josedeodo, ball breaker forward in Inspired's direction. Morgan has showed up to the fight now with the Eclipse in inventory. This Ambessa is very, very powerful. He also has his teleport ready to reset back up to the top lane after he helps out with this. I really like the movement from Morgan and TL.
Yeah, when he has that power spike, it ends up being massive. So even though Jose didn't have the item, he brought the top laner with the item. So that's just as good. And Dhokla doesn't try to match TP for a fight. Inspired says, okay, they're stronger, we're going to give it up.
Yeah, and a really nice recognition of what we can do now, again, with this Ambessa being in such a good position, comboing so well with the Vi. Even though their bot lane did get chunked out, TL are able to muscle their way in by bringing Morgan down. And now they have two, like, pretty quick Drakes early on in this game.
Very quick. Yeah, pre-12 minutes for the first two Drakes. Very quick. And Morgan continuing to look to bully Dhokla. If he gets a big enough chunk, Jose just going to kill him.
Yep, and there's Jose right over the wall. Public execution coming in. Dawning Shadow, though, reinforcing from Berserker, who was back in the base. Dhokla does survive with about 300 HP, but again, it costs his flash, and Team Liquid is not letting up the pressure in top lane.
Yeah, and now we see the swap coming through. We've kind of seen this, like, typically between...
Ooh, hold on. Fate Sealed coming out from Saint. Wants to all in, going after Quid here. Does force the defensive between worlds from the Auora. And as soon as CoreJJ shows up there with a cozy campfire, that means that the mid laners are going to trade pretty evenly as Saint snaps back again with the Soul Unbound.
Yeah, he gets a nice little healing there from Core. But yeah, you can see on... As we see bot lane.
Trying to get a little aggressive.
Yeah, we've seen these kind of swappings coming back into meta, not like an entire lane swap, but basically a lane assignment, if you'll allow me to call it that, Flowers.
All
I know
right,
you're
a
the
lane
biggest,
assignment.
You're the biggest anti-lane swapper, I think, here.
I will proudly claim that title. You don't have to think, Emily. You
Yeah,
can know
right.
with great confidence.
But we have seen this happen occasionally between like 9 and 12 minutes, depending on game state, to try to either relieve pressure or apply pressure, depending on where your bot and top is.
And I do find it interesting as well, as this is actually a very interesting recall location from Isles. I think he's just going to back away. No, they could go for an engage here with Saint, who's playing very aggressively.
I like how aggressive Saint is playing. He's already got his tier 3 shoes completed, nearly has the Blade of the Ruined King ready to combine and really hit that power spike on Yone, but he's just utterly unafraid to jump in with a Soul Unbound whenever he's got the cooldown ready.
He absolutely is. I wanted to call up a bot lane point here where it had felt like Berserker might be taking the crown from Yeon as the best bot lane AD carry in the league. But I will say, with the champions he's played so far in this series, Jhin and Senna, they're not really putting him in the position to do that, where he's not the one that is in lane dominant situations with hyper carries, which I think is definitely favoring Team Liquid if they're able to win away from Berserker and then not have to deal with him later in team fights.
And I really like CoreJJ's roam up to the top lane here to cover for Quid. You saw that Saint and Inspired had the idea to try to go after the Auora, but as soon as CoreJJ shows up, you know that Milio has so much defensive power in every single ability in the kit, so pretty hard to make the dive work on that one. Isles here in the bottom lane now as Morgan, nice use of the public execution to reset his position away from the equalizer. They are going to fully commit here with a depth charge. Morgan continuing to try to get away, but no, it's Berserker. Dawning Shadow offensively across the map this time, and he gets the kill.
Yeah, and the shutdown going to Berserker is really, really big, actually. He's going to be almost 1K ahead now on that Senna, and it frees up Dhokla to get some much-needed gold and turret damage onto this bot tier 1. As we see, TL's response is going to be to go for this Herald.
Yep, Saint's going to see it.
Yeah, they'll see it, but they won't be able to contest it.
Yeah, I mean, we can bring it back up then, I guess. Berserker.
Berserker's back
Gold difference
already.
at 14 has been good. CS difference been good. He has the tied for first Pentas. The Yeon stats were from 2024, 2025 when he was first in all these categories. Now Berserker also first in all these categories, but we threw the question mark in there because you never know when Team Liquid's bottom lane is going to be able to wake back up and continue to perform at the level they've had the last 2 years.
Yeah, and I mean, Yeon had a really, really good Ezreal game 1, on one of his, like, most, I would say, known picks. Like, I think of Yeon as a Lucian player. I think he's a very good Lucian player. However, on the other side, this Senna has made it through the worst part of playing Senna, right? Which is the early laning phase. It is the pre-static Shiv, and now with the static Shiv buffs and Deathfire Touch, she's going to feel a lot better, and that shutdown onto her was pretty big.
Dredgeline misses here this time as Yeon barely gets away from the range in mid. Nice fire back there from Berserker, though. Just that quick 1-2 punch as Josedeodo is hanging around the Dragon Pit, but Inspired is here too. Berserker just trading so effectively into Yeon now with that static Shiv, as the junglers, neither one wants to be the first one to try to commit to the dragon.
I think this will be the dragon that we get a big fight over.
Okay.
At this point, just everyone has their first major item. LYON does have a team comp that wants to scrap. So they're grouped up, really trying to aggressively contest this vision.
And you can see it's Saint and Inspired hanging around the pit as Berserker and Isles run interference, keeping everybody from TL away. And considering Josedeodo is leaving, they're just going to go ahead and give this up. Instead, they're going to do their favorite play, kill Dhokla with Josedeodo. However, yeah, the equalizer nicely used. Dhokla recognizes the problem, recognizes the danger, clears out most of the threat, tries to get away, but Josedeodo gives him the thumbs up. Nice TP, buddy. And immediately commits his own flash to guarantee the interrupt. That also guarantees they're going to grab the tier 1 turret. That's a 22 HP Herald that's about to get value on the second tier turret as well. Nice sequence for TL.
Yeah, and I like that response from TL, right? Like recognizing that Lion want to fight. They don't necessarily want to fight into them. And they did stack those initial 2 Drakes very quickly early on in this game. So recognizing they can make a play topside again with the Rift Herald. Really nice flash follow from the Vi on Jose to get that. And I mean, he has participated in all 3 of Team Liquid's kills.
He has.
And they have all been on to Dhokla.
He's been very active on the map. I will also say, even though this isn't the Dhokla we saw in the lock-in playoffs when they played Team Liquid, Dhokla is familiar with just getting weak-sided while his team does effective things and been able to win. So he'll still be effective in team fights. He's keeping his farm up.
All right, reminder, we got our spring finals coming up soon. We're almost towards the end of May, and it's that second weekend in June there, the 13th and 14th at Mullet Arena in Tempe, Arizona. You can get your tickets now, scan that QR code. Hope to see you all there. Always love being able to have these road shows, especially if it's one of those finals where you're not really sure who's going to win it. There's not a clear favorite. And like you said at the top of the day, chat, our top 4 all feel like there's a chance for anybody to really level up and be the favorite.
That's what this year has really felt like to me. Cloud9 dominating the regular seasons, Team Liquid dominating practice, and LYON dominating the actual lock-in finals. And then FlyQuest just dominating, you know, personality and hype. So we got crazy, man. Yeah. It's too fun to watch. And then we have Sentinels kind of lurking as well, dominating online play. So you never know what's going to happen and which teams are going to end up seeing in the finals.
All right, right now, though, the gold lead could go either way so easily. Only about 300-400 separating the 2 teams as a whole. But, of course, the big deal here is Berserker on his Senna, 900 gold lead. Can we take a look at the Senna stacks currently, get an idea of where we are on that one?
44 currently.
44, all right. 44 stacks on the Senna as Inspired jumps in the mid lane, goes for the Glacial Prison. Not a whole lot of value to be found out of that one because CoreJJ just immediately pops the Breath of Life. But now the follow-up is there. Now Yeon is in danger. Flashes back over the wall as the depth charge is committed. Josedeodo here on the front line. TP's coming in from both sides. Saint's got to be careful. Morgan here on the front line now. Team Liquid scrambling to reposition as Dhokla joins the charge, but it's fired. He goes really far forward, but he stays alive here with the Protoplasm Harness. Team Liquid's got to be careful now as Josedeodo is almost dead. Morgan trying to get himself away over the wall, but he has to use the flash. Protoplasm Harness just saved Inspired right there.
Are you kidding me, Flowers? Nobody died in that entire fight after everything was blown? So all ultimates gone except the Yone ultimate, and they all just kind of back away.
Look, mid lane prio matters that much.
It does. We'll use every spell. But yeah, Protoplasm Knight's Vow already completed. Isles has Protoplasm as well, so they got a lot of bruisers on the side of LYON. And Team Liquid doesn't necessarily have that one-shot potential. Quid still sitting on just the Proto Belt and components, and then Yeon building up as well.
Yeah, and as we saw, Berserker is like slightly behind in terms of actual like Senna stacks compared to average, but he's still in a really nice position.
There we go. Speaking of nice position, LYON find themselves a pick on the enemy support as they were ready and waiting for CoreJJ.
Unlucky that one went over to Isles, but a really good look right there. All of CoreJJ's CC break was burned in that last fight, and now they're just trying to accelerate the game off this. Senna teams like with Baron I love because they can stay at very high health.
Okay, Morgan's trying to take out the tier 1 turret down in bottom lane here at the same time. Is going to collect that one, but this Baron down to below half HP. Team Liquid going to pick up another tier 1, this time in mid. And it looks like the Baron's going over to LYON, no contest.
Yeah, really, really nice call from LYON immediately getting that pick. turning on to Baron. TL recognizing they really don't want to fight this unless they're as 5. So they are going to take out the mid and bot tier 1 in response.
This will be a really nice test of the is Baron useless hypothesis that I've been hearing from a lot of pro teams, because while taking that Baron, they lost mid and bot turrets that were already low, and now Drake is up. It was 37k to 37k before they started Baron. Now it's still pretty even gold. It's if they can do anything with this Baron buff, because they don't have an advantage yet from it.
Okay, Lions on the approach, but Team Liquid is already waiting here in the brush. TL Morgan here on the front line. He's going to be your target at the start. Nice equalizer coming down from Dhokla. Morgan has all 4 stacks to the Sejuani passive on him, but immediately Breath of Life coming out from CoreJJ. Josedeodo gets burned down, and Lions team fighting is looking ferocious here in this one. Core still trying to escape, but no, Inspired runs him over. Lion continuing to commit, press further forward. It's what we heard from Spawn. If we just run in and fight them face to face, we're going to die quickly because they have so much damage.
And further proof that you cannot keep Dhokla down, right?
No, sir.
His equalizer in that was great. He was actually immediately burning priority targets at the front line of that fight. So despite the fact that he was such a huge target for TL, shows up massive in that fight.
Okay, Vice.
Vice here.
I'm looking Vice.
Good.
Okay, Ambessa.
Buy no place, buy no place.
Auora is going in.
Nice 30.
Token 5.
Okay.
Token 3. I ult this still.
Look good. Look by.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have ult still.
Keep on. Milio, no flash,
Kill the Milio. Maybe I'm back.
Maybe I can ult someone. Token 5.
Okay. Auora here.
Team Sky.
Keep on.
No.
Go back. We'll drag into mid. Auora.
Really clear comms there. They won that fight so easily. Didn't even have to burn the Nautilus ultimate. Just melees behind Senna is insane. And that's what we're talking about, Emily.
You can't keep him down. Look at that.
1,000 damage from Dhoklas Ruimble.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of that was set up CC, right? From Inspired. Also the Dawning Shadow coming over across the fight in that narrow choke point, kind of softening them up in addition to the equalizer that come before it. But yeah, you can't keep Dhokla down, and this is kind of what initially I know Rigby had talked about with Dhokla's strength, is his team fighting and his communication with the rest of the team when comparing him with Castle during that first week where they started swapping between the 2 top laners.
Now gold leads for everybody except for Dhokla on the Lion side. Remember that Morgan does have 2 out of 3 of the kills for TL. Lion has also now tied up the Drake count 2-2 for either team, and things are starting to look very Lion favored from here.
They are looking to even this series, but still only a 1,500 gold lead. It could snap in one fight if Ambessa Vi find a kill onto the Senna. I think that's the most important thing. If it's on any type of front-to-back team comp, it's going to be like that Dragon fight that we just saw, where they can run through everything behind the Senna. So it's on Jose and Morgan, I feel like, to find flanks. Or it's on Yone and CoreJJ to be able to get some mid prio, because if they're not controlling mid, they're not going to be able to move into side lanes to get flanks.
I mean, that's what Lucian's supposed to do once you get to the mid game, right? You maintain mid priority, you can use the culling aggressively. Lion, though, again, looking aggressive in the enemy jungle. They find their pick. A lot of burst down to Quid. He tries to get away between worlds and barely holds on, sidestepping the Dawning Shadow damage.
Yeah, and that's going to allow Lion to further pressure in on mid and on bot, with Saint coming down and catching this wave. And Dhokla is actually going to be able to respond to any sort of comeback they might have been hoping from Morgan pushing on this top side. Again, you kind of see how this team fight from Lion is so deadly. Once they take out one person, they can kind of just push ahead as a unit, especially if the Senna remains untouched in the backline.
Well, it's just a matter of, like, what does Team Liquid actually do against it? Because you can send all of your short-range, not very tanky dudes into Sejuani, Ruimble, Yone, Senna, Nautilus, and then you're dead. Or you can kind of slowly run away and hope not to die. You need to have an offensive plan.
And it's tough to find one, again, against this composition that just has so much AoE, so much CC, so much power, and honestly, so much scaling because Senna just keeps going and going and going. 3 fully completed items now with the Shiv, the Cleaver, and the Hex Optics. Over on the other side, Essence Reaver plus Navori is completed for Yeon, so it's not like the Lucian is super weak, but he's certainly not ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, again, once the Senna got past that laning phase, and because that shutdown went on to Berserker, he is now at a 1.2k gold lead, and he's kind of hovered around 1k for a while over Yeon in this game.
That shutdown really was the start of it. After that,
really
he was
was.
up to like 900 gold, but now Berserker going to be your target. Here's Jose doing exactly what we were hoping he'd be able to do, but Berserker gets away for now. Morgan going into the back, continuing chasing after the Senna. Berserker staying alive for now. Morgan getting locked up. Beautiful defensive play coming out from LYON. Protect the president, and the whole Secret Service shows up. Berserker gets away, and Morgan gets buried.
Morgan thought he had the angle with the public execution, actually goes on to Isles, I believe, and then has to kind of step around him to try to even get onto Berserker.
Woo. If that look doesn't work, I don't know what look will.
Yeah, that was the best.
They'll have to get that again when Berserker doesn't have Flash Barrier ult, because he just kind of used all of those things. You know, his bulletproof vest was on, and he was able to defend himself for a good portion before everyone else arrived, and now they're starting up Baron once again.
Okay, remember the first one was claimed without a contest from TL. Instead, it was a trade for the Tier 1 turret bottom and Tier 1 turret mid. This time around, TL decide they do want to fight for it as LYON tries to jump over the wall and answer that challenge. Quid under pressure from Dhokla off to the left side of the fight as Saint once again tries to jump back over the Baron wall. Josedeodo locked up inside the chicken pit. Saint jumps in, and Jose's fate is sealed. Team Liquid trying to get one back onto Dhokla, but he's already gone golden here with the stasis. Dhokla staying alive. Saint has to reset here with the Soul Unbound as Berserker's down to almost no mana. Morgan still looking for a little bit more. LYON low on health bars. Team Liquid recognizing they gotta try to find something here, but all they're gonna do is lose Quid. Dhokla goes on a killing spree, and Saint's right back into the fight. Now Morgan's locked up here on the front line. The Ambessa might just die too, and Berserker takes him out with a killing spree. Team Liquid can't find their mark. They just don't have the damage until Yeon finally gets it there with a cozy campfire. Dredgeline hits him though. Isles lands the shot, and Yeon got. LYON find yet another fight victory. They take the Baron and a 5,000 gold lead.
Yeon tries to make the hero play at the end after the fight had just gone so wrong. And again, Dhokla's likely chasing down CoreJJ as well. That was a disjointed fight for LYON, and it still worked. It started 3v5 with Dhokla flanking. Saint flew back to the Baron pit at the start of it, so it was an extended 4v5, and then they still win the fight 4-1. So look at the start. Watch Saint here. He eases over the wall, doesn't get the original gauge. He snaps back. So now Inspired is just fighting the rest of Team Liquid here, but everything ends up being completely fine because LYON's 5v5 is just so strong.
Well, and also Dhokla kept Quid out of that fight for so long, and he was such a nuisance here. Goes golden, still doesn't die, and that actually opens up a lot of space. So once Morgan gets rooted, even though they're so low, they're able to finish off Quid there. And then Saint can go back in.
You think maybe because Berserker's out of mana that it would be a possibility for Team Liquid to win in the extended fight, but they're just able to play on the margins so well. And Dhokla re-arrives to burn down Yeon. Now they're back on Baron. They finish the Drake. They reset. They're back on Baron.
All right, back to live. Here we go again. Josedeodo once more caught out. The Dawning Shadow bursting through, and the enemy jungler is already gone. A max range Dredgeline coming in from Isles as he tries to lock up Yeon. But the Team Liquid AD carry still safe for now. Isles nearly dead, but once again the Protoplasm Harness is the MVP on LYON. Quid drops next, Saints into the back line, and Team Liquid has already lost two. The remaining three have to scramble. The Baron claimed by LYON.
That was so nicely done from LYON. Also, shout out to Isles for landing some of these like really crucial dredge lines in a lot of the fights. I feel like he's been super, super on point with this Nautilus pick in tandem with the Senna.
And they're just really pressuring Team Liquid now. As much as they seem very passive, when they sense the advantage, they're still willing to scrap and force objectives because they know they are so much stronger in these 5v5s. They don't even reset after that Baron, knowing Jose and Quid are still down, just maximizing their amount of gold in pocket.
And man, the tier 2 turrets falling almost simultaneously in top and mid means just more and more gold in the pockets of LYON. You get 1,000 gold for taking the Baron across the team. They're up to about just shy of a 3,000 gold Baron power play now, so getting those turrets, getting those kills, it's just so scary for TL now, man. LYON got this one in control.
And just kill Jose. He's the one person who could maybe stop the Baron. It is just Inspired Saint over the wall, and then Dhokla holds the flank. Their team fight structure has been so solid. Dhokla makes it really hard for anyone to actually dive through. And then even though they tried to kill, it didn't work.
Maybe they can throw it one time. Maybe.
That's kind of all you're hoping for at this point from TL. When your opponents are at soul point, when they have an 8,500 gold lead, this is kind of just the reverse situation of game number 1, right? And if you thought these guys were already hard to kill through Senna healing, through these protoplasm harnesses, well, here in about 2 minutes and 8 seconds, it's going to be Ocean Soul for the Lion side with 4 Ocean Drakes contributing to it. So practical immortality at that point for the unimpressive amounts of damage that Team Liquid have been able to do so far.
It's really interesting. Team Liquid's doing damage. They're just not getting kills. They can't finish everyone through the protoplasm harness and the Senna healing. Lion's the one that are doing the damage that sticks.
Now that's 2 plates of the bottom lane tier 3 turret. As Lion continue trying to use their last 60 seconds of Baron control. The timers, I believe, are going to line up very nicely because this Baron will last up until there's about 30 seconds until the Drake spawns, so Lion will be able to control the entire Rift until then. They can set up whatever they want around this dragon, and you can see all the vision from Lion in the red side jungle of Team Liquid. It's lit up all over the place here. TL finally having the opportunity to step out, clear some of these away. They'll get rid of the Raptor Brush ward. They'll get rid of the backside of the red buff ward. There's still that one there around the corner, and there's an additional one down by the Krug Brush. So all sorts of vision being set up by Lion as they make their exit to keep an eye on TL's approach to the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and they absolutely have to, because this will kind of be TL's like last stand, right? Like Lion can essentially set this up, push in the mid wave with the remainder of their Baron buff minions, and then be in full control of this bot side of the map, kind of forcing TL to contest this Ocean Soul.
And credit to Lion and especially Dhokla for forcing this into a teamfight game, because there was definitely a world where Morgan could take over this game from the side lanes with the early advantage he had on the Dhokla, but that's completely gone now. Morgan's been consistently sucked to the team to partake in these 5v5s that have just consistently gone Lion's way.
Lion getting a last little bit of damage here onto the tier 3 turret in mid lane. Nearly gets the 3rd plate, but not quite there. Almost a 10,000 gold lead here for the team as they're 10 seconds away from that Ocean Soul spawning. And we're going to see a TP coming into the top side river from Quid, so looking for a creative angle to wrap around here, but minions are going to arrive in mid, so Quid's position will be known by the Lion squad. Josedeodo jumps in for a quick vault breaker onto Inspired. Jose does have his Guardian Angel now, so keep an eye on that one. Dhokla over the wall as immediately Jose full sends it into the back, looking for the kill onto Berserker. Morgan's ready to join him, and Berserker is down. That's the kill they needed, but Yeon and Core have already been killed. As soon as it looks like Team Liquid might have a chance, Lion immediately slams the brakes on it. Now Morgan's got to try to run away. Saint, Inspired, and Dhokla wrapping around to make sure he cannot do just that. The Ambessa locked up. It takes a little while, but they will eventually burn him down. Inspired goes on a rampage. Jose's just trying to clear waves away, get whatever he can. He knows he can't challenge for this Ocean Soul for Lion.
And there you see how hard it is to actually go into this Lion team and win a 5v5, right? Because they do actually get the Vi and Ambessa working together to try to get onto Berserker, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the fight, TL are losing as they end up going in on Inspired, but then Jose immediately sees the angle. Quid pops his ult. Ambessa comes over the top. They do shut down Berserker, but then Quid dies. Like, Lion are just able to move as a full unit, even without Berserker.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching the fight for the first time, I was watching Berserker. The second time I was watching Yeon, Core, and Quid. They got completely womboed by Saint-inspired Dhokla. Like, just one shot by Yone, Ruimble, Sejuani. So Lion completely pulled their own trigger when Berserker was getting assaulted by Morgan and Jose.
I mean, if you trade one of your guys getting insta-gibbed for 3 of their guys getting insta-gibbed, you'll take that trade.
That reminded me, sometimes when I'm playing with friends and we're losing real bad, we'll say, okay, let's just kill like this guy. And then you try and keep the mental
the moral
up, right?
victory.
You're able to get the one kill because the game is cooked. The game is completely cooked.
It's like you're down 19-5 or something. It's like, okay, well, at least let's give ourselves a side quest.
Yeah, and that's, I think the side quest was accomplished, and now we can go next.
Okay.
I mean, you heard it in their earlier comms too, right? Where there's like, maybe they throw? Maybe. It's always a possibility, but it's not looking very good, especially the way that Lion are playing.
It's looking great if you're Lion.
It is looking great if you're Lion. It's not looking great for waiting. You never want to be in a position where you're waiting for the potential throw.
All right, we got another Baron. And LYON are immediately ready to just jump in. They are daring Team Liquid to come and try to answer this. Isles just maintaining space. Berserker right next to him, culling, finds a lot of damage onto the Nautilus, but honestly, Isles is still pretty much okay. We'll be able to eat up a couple of these yummy honey fruits. As now Saint jumps over the wall, wants to try to put a little pressure onto Core, not gonna get a whole lot. Baron aggro still being maintained by LYON here. They got the Baron down to about 7,000. Keep your eyes on Dhokla over the wall. Ready to drop the equalizer as soon as TL commits, and there it is into the back line. They go yet again. They're going after Berserker. He's down, but so is Quid. Saint has also found the next assassination onto Yeon yet again. It's the same story as Dragon Soul, but this time it's being told on the other side of the map. Triple kill for Saint on the Yone. Can he make it a quadra? The Soul Unbound's about to run out. No, the kill credit goes over to Dhokla, I believe. But LYON's going to be happy with that. It's only CoreJJ left alive. Baron is not needed. They can take this one straight to the Nexus.
Berserker was just a distraction. Saint was zeroed in onto Yeon, and the rest of LYON was assassinating Quid. So LYON display some awesome team fighting to even this series.
Team Liquid had a great game number 1 where they took things over and never let that lead go, kept setting up great play after great play. Now here in game number 2, it's LYON team fighting, forcing TL to play their game, and LYON just being better at it. 19-6, 15,000 gold lead, one last kill to add some insult to injury as the Nexus falls and LYON ties it up 1-1.
And what a great display from LYON to recover, also to kind of take away a lot of picks from TL and beat them with said picks.